Well, what is up, everybody? This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you so much for being here live tonight. We are live tonight. As you guys know, I don't do a lot of live streams at all. And literally thought of this idea like 3 hours ago. So I'm not really expecting a huge audience here on the podcast tonight, but obviously this will be recorded. Y'all can go watch and listen to it later on. Yeah, on vacation this week. First of all, happy Thanksgiving week to any sort of podcasting. So he's tucked into bed. I figure, hey, this is a great opportunity to try out a live stream and something I don't do a whole heck of a lot of. So, but we've got a lot to talk about tonight. I've got the Dallas Edmonton game over here. Of course, I can't put it on camera. Gary Bettman would not. Think too kindly of that, so we will keep that off the camera. But it is right now Dallas up 2-0 with 7 minutes to go in the first. So Edmonton, kind of a rough go of it so far for them. But yeah, Thanksgiving week. Just crazy how fast the year has gone. I think we say that every year, and this year was no different. Right? It was no different. It's gone by so quick. Um, yeah, first couple days of vacation, everybody's like, "Oh, what are you doing for fun?" It's like, yeah, court paperwork and raking leaves is what I've done so far. So I can't sit here and say it's been a super fun start to the vacation, but things that needed to get done and getting them done. Got about 4 hours of raking done today. Thank you to my buddy Bill for loaning me his gas-powered leaf blower. That definitely helped. If there's one household chore you could give me just a get out of jail free card for the rest of my life, it's raking leaves. I hate it. I absolutely hate raking leaves. I will do any other chore, any other outside chore, inside chore, doesn't matter. Raking leaves is really a chore from hell. It's really spawned from Satan. I really believe that. Like even during the summer, I'm sitting out in my backyard and I'm looking at those trees and how beautiful it is, and I'm just looking at the leaves. Like you guys, that's just going to cause me so many headaches here in a couple of months. I hate it, but I'm done for another year. So happy, happy, happy for that. So yeah, I'm curious. Anybody out there, what your Thanksgiving plans are this week? Me and my kiddo we're heading up to the Damascotta, Maine area, to be with family for the day. And outside of that, just kind of a pretty laid back, low key week here. So we're looking forward just to a little downtime and hopefully watching some hockey. So let's take a look at the NHL standings as we sit here tonight. Of course, only the one game on tonight, Dallas and Edmonton. Looking at the Atlantic Division, you have Tampa Bay in first place with 28 points, Detroit 27 points, Ottawa and Boston both with 26. Boston sitting in fourth place, Montreal with 25 points in fifth, Florida in sixth place with 25 points, Buffalo with 22 points, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, we'll talk about a little bit later on, 21 points, 9, 10, and 3 for themselves. Going to the Metro, Carolina in front of New Jersey with 30 points, those Devils with 29 points, the Islanders in third place at 28 points, kind of a surprise, I would say. Washington with 26 points, Pittsburgh with 25, Philly right behind them with 25, Columbus with 25, and the New York Rangers sitting in eighth place with 24 points. So, much like the Atlantic, very, very tight. Going down to the Central Division, the Colorado Avalanche, 37 points. Holy shnikes. Like we will talk about Colorado here in a little while. Dallas with 30 points in second place. Minnesota with 28 points, sitting in third. Utah in fourth with 27 points. Winnipeg and Chicago both with 24 points, sitting in fifth and sixth places. St. Louis with 20 points, and the Nashville Predators with 16 points. That is, I believe, yes, the worst team in the league. And out to the Pacific. Anaheim with 29 points, Seattle with 28 points in second place, the LA Kings 28 points sitting in third, Vegas 10, 5, and 7 with 27 points there in fourth place, San Jose with 25 points, right ahead of Edmonton with 25 points as well. Vancouver with 20 points, sitting in seventh, and Calgary with 19 points in eighth place. So that's where we stand. Yeah, some interesting stuff there, guys. I think looking at Anaheim in first place right now, I did think they were going to be very good this year. I did not have them in first. Um, we knew Colorado would be good. Do we think they were this good? This is crazy. We'll talk about them in a little bit. I just like the fact the Islanders and the Penguins are hanging around. Like I didn't really see that this year. And listen, the Atlantic is, and we're going to talk about Boston here coming right up, but you've got Detroit in second place, Toronto in last. It's just things seem a little upside down in that division, but maybe time for some new blood, and maybe that's what we're starting to see. But let's talk about our Boston Bruins coming off the three-game West Coast swing. Of course, they play tomorrow in on the island, I should say, against the New York Islanders, finishing up that four-game road trip. Um, Kind of a whole hum trip, I would say. Of course, you take that loss in Anaheim 4-3. You do beat the Kings 2-1, and then the last time out there in San Jose, losing 3-1. So you only get the two out of the 6 points. The Ducks game, quite honestly, I went to bed about halfway through the game. I think they were down by 2 goals at that point. They battled back to 3-3. They lose it late. So one of those games where you feel like they played well enough to probably earn a point in that one, but hard, when you get behind, and hard when you get behind on the road, hard when you get behind on the road against a good team. It's you just put yourself in a hard position. So a little bit of tough luck there. Again, Anaheim sitting in first place in that division. They're a pretty good team this year. Nice one against the Kings. The Kings seem to have been playing pretty well at home. Um, or playing pretty well in general, I should say. So a real nice gutsy win there, 2-1. And then a game against San Jose. I just thought, they looked a little bit sleepy throughout part of that game. They played all right. I think they played better than a 3-1 loss, but a little bit sleepy early on. They turned it up a little bit late, started generating more shots, things like that. Let's take a look at this box score. Pull this back up here. Full box score. There it is. So yeah, you end up with 35 shots, and Askarov just playing, kind of lights out, in this one. Um, the Sharks with 30 shots. Of course, only two of those going against Swim, and the other one being the empty netter. Um, and yeah, nice to see Geeky. He does get that goal in the third period from Pasta and Yokiharu. 17 goals on the year. We knew he had such a great year, a year ago. Could he repeat that? And I'll be curious to see how long this can go. I mean, are we seeing kind of the emergence of a new superstar in this league? I think it's really exciting, but you do this 2 years in a row, I think you have something. And I think with Morgan, you're really starting to um, see something really, really good here. I know it's not great analysis, but 17 goals right at the top of the league. I think he's coming into today tied with McKinnon or right behind McKinnon to lead the league. I did not have that at all coming up. Of course, Celebrini getting the difference maker in this one, the second goal, that power play. This kid's just lights out, man. 14 goals on the year for him. Um, yeah, I talk about a budding, emerging superstar. Like he's already a star, in his second season. So, good to see the kid, playing so well. But yeah, it's hard not to talk about this team and not talk about the penalties. Holy smokes, guys. The penalty minutes are just racking up here. 22 more penalty minutes in this one. And looking at some stats, I'm on moneypuck.com. Penalty minutes per 60. Boston's leading the league. No surprise. 11.29 on that stat. Um, it just they got to clean that up. I mean, it goes without saying, right? It's an obvious one, but this has been what a couple years, 2, 3 years in a row where they've just been a highly penalized team. There's some discipline aspects that just have to be there. The Lindholm penalty in the last game, like, what are you doing there? Checking the guy basically in the neck. That's going to get called. That's going to get called. You took one little check, great. I don't know if it was a frustration play for him, but Stuff like that. You just have to cut that stuff out. Um, let's go back here. So that was 22 penalty minutes in the game against San Jose. Oh, let me scroll back. Let's go back to the Kings game here. I'll look at team stats here. Yeah, 20 penalty minutes to 4 for LA. Awful, awful, just awful. And against, we'll just go back to the Anaheim game. I should have had this all lined up. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when I do a live stream, I guess. Not as bad in the Anaheim game, only the 6 penalties. But again, this has been a common theme throughout the year, just penalties, penalties, penalties. Anytime you're on a 3-game road trip like that out west, you're hoping for 3, 4 points. Obviously, only getting the two, little discouraging, I would say. You have a chance to make it a 2 for 2, or 2 and 2, if you can get the win against the Islanders here tomorrow night. We've had some good luck against the Islanders so far this year. They've been playing pretty well, if they're on the island. So be curious to see what we see there. But clearly, it'd be good to get a win. Good to kind of keep pace here. You're only 2 points out of first place, only 2 points behind Tampa, and just a real logjam with Montreal and Florida, both at 25 points right behind you. So keep it up. You're 6-4 over your last 10. You are -2 in the goals, 4 goals against right now. Um, 8-4 at home, 5-7 on the road. I think that was really something you were hoping to see them get that road record back to 500. If you can be 500 on the road and obviously better at home, that's a sign of a playoff team typically. Um, so there's still time. You can win on the island. You could be 6-7 coming back, take the Thanksgiving break, and hopefully you're at 28 points by that point. Of course, Elias Lindholm is back. Great to see that, one of the 3 of the top 6 that have been out for the team. So, yeah, really good to see him back out there. I'm just going to pull up his line here from the San Jose game. So, -1, yeah, no shots. His total time on ice 15:41. Had 4 minutes of power play time, 1 minute of shorthanded time. Um, won 58% of his faceoffs. So yeah, not an awful game, not super noticeable in the game, I would say. Obviously, first game back after a while, you would expect that, in the games ahead, he'll be more noticeable. And he was pretty effective before he got hurt. So you hope that he can get back to that. The team is absolutely going to need that. They've been, yeah, getting some good production out of other guys, but the more you can get these guys healthy, the better. Oh, just looking at the Dallas Edmonton game, it is 4-0 Dallas with a minute 14 to go in the first. Yeah, they just got the fourth one. Yeah, another horrible night for Edmonton, man. They need a goaltender. They need a goaltender. Yeah, Skinner's out there. Just, oh, that's gross. Yeah, Steele pops it. It gets behind Skinner. Let's see this. Yeah, he stops initially, gets behind him though, pops up behind him, and yeah, shot from Ben initially off the leg pad, over the top, and still bops it in. Gross, man. I don't think anybody's feeling bad for Edmonton fans. 2 back-to-back cup appearances, but man, I don't know how you roll this back with this goaltender again this year. And again, they're just off to another kind of ho hum start here for themselves. So yeah, really, really weird. But Dallas is a good team, so uh, I guess no shame in losing to Dallas. But man, 4-0 after one, that's going to be potentially a long game and a long night for the Oilers. All right, let's take another quick look here. I wanted to look at Jeremy Swayman because there's been a lot of chatter about him and just kind of the year he had a year ago. We all know the contract negotiations and just the year it was, not just for him, but for Boston. Um, so looking at ESPN right now, they have him at 9-6, a 2.79 goals against, and a 909 save percentage. So according to ESPN, he is ranked 23rd in goals against average and tied for 13th at 909. No shutouts yet. Um, for him. So Not bad, better, right? Getting better, and he looks better regardless of the numbers. He looks more confident out there. He looks like he's playing with more of that swagger. I think last year must have been humbling for him. I mean, it was humbling, I think, for a lot of people in Boston, but man, that must have been humbling for him to sign that big contract, kind of go through the summer with a little, I don't want to say ego, but maybe a little chip on his shoulder. Maybe a little bit of a, I've got some leverage here and I'm going to use it. And hey, I have no problem with players getting paid. I have no problem with players leveraging to try to take care of themselves and their families. They potentially could have very short careers. They have a very short window to make the money. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And I'm happy to see him starting to bounce back. I hoped for this because first of all, the team really needed it, right? There's no getting around that. You know, this team is not deep offensively, despite how they've played so far offensively. It's been good, better than expected, but you need a healthy Jeremy Swayman to carry the load. And so far, he's been certainly better than a year ago, and I think looking better than he did a year ago. A relief, I think. Let's just hope he can continue to build on it. Even in some of these losses, um, he's looked pretty good. He's kept the team in the game. We know this team is going to continue to play. Um, a lot of 3-2, 2-1 type of games. Just need to take a real quick sip here, guys. Oh, so that's where we are at right now. Of course, as I said, Boston 13 and 11, 26 points. Yeah, no overtime losses yet. How many? Let's see. I think four overtime wins. Um, so that's great to see. Yeah, they've been really good on the 3-on-3 so far. That's been awesome. Looking around at some other teams here, let's talk about Colorado for just a second. I mean, 16, 1, and 5. 16 1 and 5, 37 points, 15 wins in regulation. We know that's a big tiebreaker stat and one that's obviously watched very closely. 15. The next closest is it 11? It's 11 for Florida of all teams. So yeah, 8-0-2 at home, 8-1-3 on the road, a plus 38 in a goals for, goals against, and they've won 9 in a row. Yeah, listen, we no question we knew this team was good. We knew they were going to be good. Um, did we think they were going to be this kind of hot and this kind of good right out of the gate? I mean, maybe some people did. I mean, I thought they'd be right up there near the top. I didn't see them kind of running away with it, which is kind of what they're doing right now. They are running away with this thing right now. Top scores, no surprises here. McKinnon with those 17 goals, 20 assists for 37 points. McCarr, 29 points. The guy's a defenseman, 9 goals, 20 assists. Marty Natchez, the old Hurricane, 13, 15 for 28. Lehkonen with 19 points. Olafson with 15 points. Brock Nelson, of course, the player they picked up at the deadline from the Islanders, 6, 6, and 12 for him. Um, and Landeskog, just to talk about him, he's healthy, 7 points in 22 games. So, not scoring like he used to, but just happy to see him healthy. Yeah, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 guys in double digits in points so far, 22 games in. Yeah, ouch. That's crazy. That's bananas. That is absolutely bananas. Looking at some of their other stats here, let me just pull up just some other things here for us. So we already talked about the goal differential. And the funny thing is, for as good as they've been, their power play hasn't been super effective at 15.7%, and that ranks them down near, hold on, 25th in the league. 25th in the league. For as good as they've been, they haven't, and that's what I think should be encouraging, is that they're doing this 5-on-5. They're smoking you 5-on-5. For as good as they have, on their roster in terms of their players, they're going to get that power play figured out. That's the one Achilles heel right now. 87% on the PK, which is right near the top. It's third in the league. So, that's obviously a big, big part of their game. And it's just, I always like to look at shots. Yeah, they're number 2 in shots behind, no question. Now, no surprise here. Carolina Carolina at 33.7 shots per game, and Colorado at 33.1. So two shot heavy teams. Again, no surprise. But I mean, yikes, guys. I mean, this Central Division, I mean, this thing could be over, in a couple of weeks. I mean, Dallas is 7 points behind. Dallas is 13-5-4. That's a really good start. And you're 3.5 games behind them already. That's got to be a little deflating. Um, yeah, yeah, very, very interesting to see that. I have Vegas as my Stanley Cup winner, but I mean, if Colorado keeps this up, I don't know if anybody's touching them this year. We'll see if the goaltending holds up. Goaltending, I think, has been, was good last year. I don't have those numbers in front of me right now. Um, but that might be, one area. We'll see if that holds up for them. But yeah, when you have McKinnon and McCarr and the depth they have with guys like Natchez and some of the other players we just mentioned, yeah, tough, tough team. On the flip side of it, gonna take one more sip here. Things you miss when it's a recorded podcast, when I can edit those things out. Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, 9, 10, and 3 for 21 points. Last in the East. I mean, 8, 4, and 3 at home. So, okay at home, but still an 8-7 record. 1-6 on the road. And they're a -8 in the goal differential. Okay. I know, Maple Leaf diehards gonna say, "Oh, injuries. We got a lot of Matthews is out. We've had our defense has been beat up. Goaltending hasn't, Wall's been out. He's just coming back." Okay, okay, but before those injuries, y'all weren't playing good either. Obviously, injuries are gonna, be part of it. They're always gonna be part of it. But man, I never expected Toronto to be this bad this early. I expected them to take a step back. I think they won the division a year ago, right? You don't lose Mitch Marner and get better. I know they say they brought in, Dakota Joshua and some other guys, spend the money differently, spread it out a little bit. Listen, Toronto couldn't wait to run this guy out of town. I talked about this summer. I talked about it with Court Lalonde on Bruins Diehards podcast this summer as well. Um, and Courts, I think, has a, because he lives in Toronto. I know I won't put words in his mouth, but he has some really great opinions on this too. Marner's a phenomenal player and was of their big guys, and this is something I documented here, had the best playoff performances of any of the other players on the team, of their big players, the big guys. But he was a scapegoat. It was all his fault. It was all he was the problem. They're too top heavy, and he's the guy that has to go. Now I know Vegas is kind of struggling right now too. They're not where they think they should be either. So, I'm sure some Toronto fans are probably snickering at that. But Toronto, man, you're 9, 10, and 3 through 22 games through a quarter of the season. I mean, it gets late awfully early in this league. We know that. We know that by the time US Thanksgiving hits and you're down this far, it's awfully hard to battle back. Um, I'm going to say it. I know other people have said it. Listen, I don't. I'm already like almost regretting saying this, but like, how good is Austin Matthews really? Like, okay, he's a good goal scorer, very, very talented player. Is he a good captain? Is he the guy you really want as the captain of your team? Is he the guy that's going to pick the team up on his back and carry them through a couple rounds of the playoffs? I don't see it. There's nothing in his repertoire. There's nothing in his history that tells me he's ever going to be that guy. Good goal scorer. I would refer to him for those older basketball fans that maybe the Dominique Wilkins of the NHL, right? Like good goal scorer. Dominique could fly, man. He could shoot. He could dunk. He was a great offensive player, but he's not somebody going to lead the Atlanta Hawks to to a championship. And I would say the same here for Austin Matthews. That just something's he needs other guys. He needs other leaders around him to make this a really cohesive thing. And if you're putting all your eggs in the Matthews basket, and I know Nylander's there and Tavares and Nyes and you have other players, but you know, how much of this is on him? I know he's out right now. He's hurt. We're talking about injured players, so I know, and I know there's plenty of Matthews apologists. Hey, I would love to have Austin Matthews on my team. I just don't want him to be the leader on the team. I don't want him to be the captain. I want him to, be part of a top six that can score. But oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys were so quick to run Marner out of town, and now look where you're at. Now, okay, people say, "Oh, it's still early. It's still early." It's not really that early, though. It's not. You're 22 games in. Sure, you can blame the injuries. You can blame, poor goaltending and a Wall just coming back now. But man, this is bad. And if it doesn't get better soon, I mean, there's a real chance you could miss the playoffs. It's a it's a real chance. Listen, Detroit hasn't fallen off yet, like I thought they would. Ottawa's keeping pace. Boston's better than I think the league thought they would be. Montreal is right there. Florida's going to get better. They're going to get healthy there, and they're doing enough to hang around. Brad Marchand playing like 28-year-old Brad Marchand for some reason, leading that club. I mean, just freaking awesome to see that out of him. I mean, I hate it as a Bruins fan, but love it for him. Love it for the player. Yeah, you're just loaded in that Atlantic division. Who's going to fall out? Now, I could see Detroit falling back. I could see Boston falling back, to be honest. Um, Ottawa might hang around. Like I said, I think Florida is just going to get better. Montreal, I think, is going to hang around it. So, yeah, Toronto, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? There's a lot of rumors that Brandon Carlo is already on the market. And you look at that trade, the Mitten for Carlo trade, where Boston got a couple of picks in there too. Just a bizarre deal for Toronto, amazing deal for Boston. Mitten, obviously, centering that third line for the club right now and looking like he belongs, looking like a real good player. And Carlo kind of just doing Brandon Carlo thinks he's also. I don't know if he's back. He was hurt for a while, so man, oh man, guys, just awful if you're a Maple Leaf fan. And, I have that kind of no, I'm not a Maple Leaf fan, but everybody that follows my show knows I'm a huge Toronto Blue Jay fan. So I'm with these people in baseball season. I'm not with them in hockey season. But to come off that Game 7 World Series loss, and I still have a hard time talking about it. Uh, and then to come into this hockey season, which is really their sport, and to have it go this poorly, I mean, man, that's a rough couple months if you're a Toronto sports fan. It really is, and, um, yeah, I tell you, like I say, two incidents in terms of baseball. We'll get back to hockey, but my brother-in-law is very lost, in his ways. He's a Dodger fan, and he, came to they were here at the house a couple days ago, and he was wearing his Dodgers, World Series hat, and of course, my sister's like, "Should he leave? Should he take the hat off?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not going to be like that." But I did look right at him and said, "I'm not ready to talk about it." He's like, "Okay, okay." I'm like, "Yeah, we don't want to talk about it." Um, because the just a few days after the World Series, I was at my regular pub, and it was pretty packed. One of my buddies walked in. He sat a few seats over, and so it was pretty crowded that night. And, it was about an hour where I hadn't had a chance to talk to him, and it got a little quieter. And he kind of leaned down the bar and said, "Hey, you're kind of trying to like, oh, how you taking it, bud?" And I looked at him, and I was trying to be funny, but it was nothing but venom that came out of my voice, man. I looked at him and said, "You've been here for a bleeping hour, and that's the first bleeping thing you have to bleep and say to me." And he kind of did one of those like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, man, don't, don't do it. Nope, nope, nope. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go there because it's not going to go well." And kind of the whole bar was like, "Oh shit, Ben's mad." So I talked to him later and said, "I'm not really mad. I'm just not ready to talk about it." So, anyways, for those Toronto fans, I certainly sympathize to some degree with what they have going on. So yeah, you have the super hot in Colorado, the super cold in Toronto, and just a mishmash in between of all sorts of other teams. You have Nashville struggling mightily. Vancouver really falling off as well. And a lot of rumors around Vancouver right now. They've come out and said they're willing to shop some of their veteran guys. They want to get younger. So, what does that look like for Vancouver? I haven't looked at their roster all the way through, but some of the players they have here and some big contracts too. I mean, you've got, um, of course, you have, hold on, Pedersen, and you got Brock Besser, you got Jake DeBrusk, obviously former Bruin. You got Heedle there. Of course, well, I was gonna say he's young. He's not. He's 26. Besser's 28. You got Evander Kane at 34. DeBrusk 29. Um, Pedersen 27. And then you get into their defense, of course. I don't think there's any talk about Quinn Hughes right now, but Forbert, he's been hurt. He's at 33. Hronik's 28. Um, yeah, it's just a tough spot, right? This has always been one of those kind of coming into the year, one of those tweener teams that I wasn't sure what to expect. I don't think I had them in the playoffs, but you could talk yourself into it. Everything went right for them. If Pedersen bounced back, if the addition of Kane really hit, DeBrusque can do what he can do, and you get enough depth scoring. Besser obviously being a big part of that. Demko being healthy. Um, but it just hasn't worked. First year under Adam Foote, a new head coach. So yeah, I think they'll be a team worth watching as we get into getting close to the trade deadline. But I think you may see some moves here early from them. And then you also have Nashville. Nashville Predators off to just another just horrible start. And I kind of hate to see this because it is Barry Trotz running the show down there. And I apologize. I am a little scratchy tonight. It must have been all the damn leaf raking I did hitting my system. 6-12-4, minus 29 in the goal differential. Just ouch. Absolutely ouch. Try to find some more of their stats here. Let's just scroll. Hold on. Yeah, they're 2.32 goals for, 3.68 goals against. Power plays at 16.2, PK 82.5. You know, just not a lot to like there. That goal differential is big. Yes, you have UC Soros. You traded Askarov, of course, the goalie we just played out there in San Jose, who looks completely legit, as a star um, goaltender here coming up. Let's take a look at Saros's numbers. And I mean, you signed him to the contract. Yeah, 6'9" and 3.09 and an 889 save percentage. I mean, not all on the goaltender, right? The team in front of him is not playing well. But I think Barry came out and said it. Like, this team should be able to score. When you look at the guys they have, O'Reilly, Stamkos, you got Bunting, you got Forsberg, you got Kala, who was of course here in Boston a while back. You got Marsh, so they should score some goals. They should score some goals. Roman Yossi, leading that defense. Brady Shea down there on defense, and I mean you've got a lot of Stanley Cup pedigree guys. And you go back to 2 years ago, they signed all these guys. I'll be honest, I'll admit it. I was one of the guys who thought it was going to work. Thought this is a home run. They've got a pretty good team already. I think they were a playoff team. I'm sorry, I'm just getting distracted. Oh, Pickard's in net for Edmonton. Just trying to keep an eye on this. Uh, Come on, give me the score. I'm assuming it's 5-0 now because new goaltender and all. This is great for a live stream, isn't it? Do. Come on. No. Take a sip while I wait. We've got looks like a power play for Edmonton coming up. I hate this when they take the score down while they're flipping around their cameras. Like, come on. Any day now. I'm assuming it's 5-0. Here we go. Nope, still 4-0. Just started the second. We're just coming back to it. All right. Just going back to the second period. Sorry about that. Just didn't want to miss it. Didn't want to miss anything. So, anyways, yeah, tough for Nashville. And yes, as I said, I fully expected this to work. I was one that thought it was going to be a home run. Very clear early on last year that the mix in the room just wasn't working. Too many of the same assets, and there were some voices that said that when all this went down, when they went out and got Marcia So, they got Stamkos, they already had O'Reilly. It was like you kind of have too many of the same types of pieces. How are they going to complement each other? And the answer is they don't complement each other. That they were both like Marcia So and Stammer, excuse me, were in great positions where they were. Um, and it's just the fit isn't working. We also have Andrew Brunette, and of course Brunette, former Portland Pirate, Barry Trotz, former Portland Pirate. There's obviously some connectivity here to Portland with these guys. So, any Maine hockey fan, probably kind of sort of cheers for Nashville a little bit because you got those two guys down there running the show. So just awfully hard to see. It's a great hockey culture too for the South in particular, where college football dominates. They have a really good hockey culture there downtown Nashville. I've never been to a game there, but I've heard nothing but amazing things. It's one of the loudest buildings, I believe, in the NHL when they're hopping. So you just hope they can figure this out quickly. But man, if you're Barry Trotz, you've just got to punt, like punt and then punt again. Everybody, like everybody's for sale. And the good thing is that those contracts you signed were not 7, 8 year contracts. I think Stenberg was a 4 year, Marcia So was a 4 or 5 year. So a little bit of term, but not crazy. So you would expect, especially with the cap going up, that these are some guys that should be able to uh, you get moved. They have some no trade clauses out there, so they have to find some agreement. But if you're an O'Reilly, if you're a Steven Stamkos, if you're a Marcia So, if you're a Brady Shea, heck, if you're Roman Yossi, if you're a Philip Forsberg, do you really want to stick around for a rebuild? No, I don't. I mean, I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but I wouldn't want to. And all those guys would be, I think, good assets and good players to add to teams trying to chase the Stanley Cup. Um, don't be surprised if Florida makes a move. They had a, I mean, they're just kind of sleeping in the weeds right now, sleeping in the Everglades someplace, like hanging out with the alligators, and nobody's really talking about them. But they're right in the middle of the pack, and they've got guys coming back. I mean, we know Kachuk's going to come back. I don't know about Barkov, but some of the other players will come back. You got Marchand just playing completely lights out. I actually kind of want to pull his stats up right now, but I don't have all the salary stuff. I could pull up Puckpedia. I'm not going to do that, but I'd be really curious to see if Florida doesn't jump in. Could you imagine Steven Stamkos in a Panther sweater? Let's think about that for a second. I know that every Tampa Bay fan just vomited in their mouths and probably shut this video off if they're watching. Um, that hey, who knows, right? Stranger things have happened. Um, you know, but I think all those guys got to go. I just do. It's just not working. So here we are, Brad Marchand, 13 goals, 12 assists, 25 points, and that is in how many games? Hold on. 21 games, 25 points in 21 games. He had 51 points total a year ago between Boston and Florida in the regular season. And I mean, you go back to his last full year in Boston, 29 goals. He's already almost halfway there with 3 quarters of the season left to go. So, I mean, Brad's going to knock on, he might be in the mid 30s, by the end of this season, if he stays healthy. It's crazy. Boston would love to have that right now. Ship has sailed. Ship has sailed. So, anyway, I think there's just a lot to be watching for here, guys, in the trade market. You have some of these teams that are shopping, that are down. I really wonder about Toronto. What do they do if in another 10 days from now you get into, let's say, second week of December and they're still sitting in eighth place? I mean, I think now it's really panic mode for them in terms of the playoffs. And do you become a seller then if you're Toronto? I don't know if anybody thought that would be the case this year, but That might happen. That might actually happen this year, guys. So I don't know. I really don't know. All right. Well, last little bit here coming out of St. Louis, former Boston Bruin Milan Lucic cut today, or cut, I think it was today. He was, I believe, playing in the American League for, you know what, let me just look him up too. See his, I get his hockey DB card here. Um, there he is. But yes, cut from St. Louis. Here's his hockey DB card. Yeah, he had been in Springfield, played 5 games in Springfield, just the one assist, 4 penalty minutes, was a -7. Uh, yeah, I think it's the end of the road. I think it's the end of the road. The guy played in over 1,100 NHL games, 233 goals, 353 assists, over 1,300 penalty minutes, and had 77 points in the playoffs. Obviously, a lot of those with the Boston Bruins, and was a big part of that Stanley Cup team. We know the problems that were had when he came back. I think that when he came back, there was some hope that he could be a good fourth line type of guy and bring some of that energy back with him. But um, oh, Edmonton's on the board. Look at that, 4-1 now. Dallas, 15:21 to go in the second period. So can Edmonton stage a comeback here? They are the only show in town tonight. But yeah, Lucic is 37. I think it's the end of the road. I think that was probably his last chance. Uh, yeah, we'll see if anybody kicks the tires on him. If there's someone desperate out there, but I just feel like it's the end of the road for Lucic. So great Boston Bruin, a great champion. Really kind of goes out in flames here, unfortunately for him, and won't be a good end. You just hope that he's healthy emotionally, mentally. I hope his family's okay. I think when I don't know all the details of what happened, what his domestic violence situation was, but you just hope everybody's all right. You hope the family's all right. You hope he can be all right in retirement, if that is indeed what happens. And hey, does he want to go over to Europe and try it out? I don't know. What is his motor like right now? What's his energy like to continue to play? I don't see him being a Yarmir Yager playing into his mid 50s. I don't see anybody doing that. So we will see. We will see. Well, we're going to turn the page and we're going to talk a little bit ECHL now and talk about our Maine Mariners coming right up after I take another sip. Let me close out some windows here. I'm clearly flying by the internet tonight. Let's look at the ECHL and the standings right now, starting in the Eastern Conference North Division. The Wheeling Nailers 11-3 with 22 points. The Reading Royals 9-4-2 with 20 points. The Maine Mariners 8-4-3 with 19 points. Trois Riviere 6-5-2 for 14 points. Adirondack 6-4-2 for 14 points. Greensboro, the new addition this year, 5-6-4 with 14 points. Worcester out of the basement 6-8-1 with 13 points. And the Norfolk Admirals 5-8-2 for 12 points. Going out to the south, Florida Everblades 10-5-1 with 21 points. South Carolina 10-5-0, 20 points. Atlanta 9-4 for 18 points. Jacksonville 8-6 with 16 points. Savannah 6-3-3 for 15 points. Greenville 7-7 with 14 points. The Orlando Solar Bears on the Mariners schedule this year 1-12. Ouch. Ouchie, ouchie. 2 points. 13 games in, 2 points. That sucks. That's just, you imagine being an Orlando Solar Bear fan, and that's the team at 29 goals for, 53 against. Ay, 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 that's bad. Let's go out west. Central Division. You got the Fort Wayne Comets 10-4 with 20 points. Toledo 8-3-2 with 18 points. Indy 7-6-2 for 16 points. Cincinnati 8-6 with 16 points. Bloomington 6-4-3 for 15 points. Iowa 6-9-1 for 13 points. And Kalamazoo 4-9 with 8 points. And the Mountain Division, it's Tahoe up top there, tied for the division lead, 10-6-1 with 21 points, tied with Idaho. Also 10-6-1 with 21 points. Kansas City 10-5 with 20 points. So Utah Grizzlies 7-6-2 for 16 points. Wichita 6-7-3 for 15 points. Tulsa 7-6 for 14 points. Rapid City 5-8-2 with 12 points. And the Allen Americans 4-6-3 with 11 points. All right. No games tonight in the ECHL. Every once in a while there is a Tuesday night game, but nothing tonight. Let's look at the last two for the Maine Mariners. Going back to the 21st, they lose in overtime to the Worcester Railers. They lose 2-1. Shots on goal, Maine 35, Worcester 29. That's 12-12 and 11 for Maine, 8-11 and 6. And then the four in overtime for Worcester. 0 for 4 on the power play for Maine, 1 for 3 for Worcester. Um, yeah, Nielsen, the only goal getter for Maine in this one, and Kavlin in net, 27 saves on 29 shots. And then the last game out, the Sunday matinee game, of course, Maine winning that one 5-1. A great bounce back. We'll talk a little bit about this game, but shots on goal 41 for Norfolk, 27, excuse me, for Maine. It's 12, 11, and 18 for Norfolk, 13, 9, and 5 for Maine. No very few power plays called in this one, something me and Mike talked about on the broadcast, but 0 for 1 for both clubs. Um, but yeah, it's Gallatin getting his first pro goal in the first period. McCallum following that up, making it 2-0 after one. It's Reifenberger got on the board there to make it 2-1 in the second period, but Hudson with just a bomb of a shot, just kind of front and center of the goaltender, tops him, getting his third of the year, and then Kalmakov from Andreev and Hudson that makes it 5-1. Kavlin in net for this one, 40 saves on 41 shots. He was brilliant. Stein making his debut. Rough one for him. 5 goals given up, 22 saves on 27 shots. Uh, as many of you know, I was in the booth as Mike Keeley's color guy for this one. When I go back and kind of look at my pregame notes, what were we talking about? It was score first, and score in the first. Maine had been struggling with getting goals the last few games, and really felt like a team, in Norfolk who was coming down from Troyes at the end of a road trip, struggling themselves. You can score first, you take that believability away, you take their legs away. Well, we asked, and that's what we got. Another part of this was a shot mentality. We wanted to see a lot of shots on goal. You're facing a rookie goaltender making his pro debut. We wanted to see more of that. And we wanted to see the lead after 40 minutes. After 40 minutes going into this game, Maine is 6-0. Norfolk was 0 for 4. So after the game, we're looking through those notes, and it's, uh, yeah, you were able to get that first goal, as we talked about. Scored first and then the first. You built the lead, which you knew was going to be very, very important in this game in particular, knowing how tired Norfolk would potentially be. You did survive a second period storm. I mean, Reifenberger got that one to make it 2-1. It was 2-1 for a while in this game, and there were some icy dicey moments there. I mean, again, Norfolk with 41 shots, in this game. So Kavlin was busy, and he really kind of kept the team, in the game. I'll say it was a lot of shots, not a lot of high danger shots, but still shots on goal, and he had to be sharp. So you survive that storm. You're able to get in to the second intermission up 4-1. Feeling now pretty darn good about yourselves. Closing it out there. You got the goal at the 1927 mark. Thompson kind of going almost coast to coast by himself and scoring that one. That was just a thing of beauty. And then a couple of the other notes here. Your best players need to step up. We were talking about McCollum kind of needing to get things going. He scores a goal. We had Dexter Payne, owner of the Mariners, up in the booth in I think it's this first intermission, and he mentioned directly, he's like, Brooklyn Kalmakoff, man, he's snake bitten right now. He needs one. And all right, owner, asking you shall receive. He got one. And then the last key, of course, in this was Kavlin was just on fire. First star of the game, 40 saves on 41 shots. Just absolutely brilliant for him. I mean, we know he's only in Maine because of kind of what's happening, a little bit above him. And let me just pull up something here. Oh, here we go. With DiPietro in Providence, of course, he doesn't make the club, out of camp. So we knew that if DiPietro was in Providence, most likely Cavalin would be here. And yeah, we're very lucky that that's the case. I just want to pull up his updated numbers here. Yeah, well, I don't have the save percentage on this, but 1.88 goals against. I know what they'll have. They're going to have it right here on the ECHL website. So yeah, 1.88 and a 934 save percentage for Cavalin, 7 wins. So let's see. He is tied for the league lead in wins. He is, well, let's see. He's not number one in goals against, but some of these stats can be a little misleading. Uh yeah, he's not. But there's a lot of these guys only played 2 or 3 games. So those are kind of tough to see, but definitely the leader in wins, and I would say has played more than most of these guys um, who are kind of up there. But yeah, you also have LaFontaine for Kansas City, 7 wins, 1.97 and 926. So he's right up there too. But yeah, no question, Maine has one of the very best goaltenders in the league, and you just hope we can hang on to him for a while because he's been a real mainstay. Arbanite has been good too. He's been solid this year, not getting the same amount of opportunities, probably getting a little bit more. Right now, he's a 2.62 goals against, so not bad for himself. And of course, poor Ethan Pearson can't get any time. In net, it's too bad. He's a good-looking young player, so we will see. We will see, but. Yeah, good bounce back win, something the team absolutely needed, and we'll see if they can now build off of this. They're right, near the top of the division, and hope they can stay there. Of course, the next two they are in Norfolk Friday at 7:05, again Saturday at 7:05. So right after the holiday, you can obviously watch and Flow Hockey. Listen on the Mixel app. Keely will be on those calls there. Then they return to Adirondack for Friday, December 5th, 7 o'clock. And then, of course, back at the Cross Insurance Arena against Adirondack, 6 p.m. That is, of course, the Teddy Bear Toss game, one of the most popular games of the year. So if you don't have tickets for that one, I would suggest get them now because I'm quite sure that one will be a sellout as well. All right. A couple other things here, guys. With the Mariners, of course, we did lose Sean Element and Jacob Perreault up to Providence. Good for them. It's always hard for the team and for the club to lose guys, but this is the ECHL. This is what it's all about. It's player development. Jacob Perreault earned it. He's a former first round draft pick. I'm sure there was a lot of humble pie he had to eat to come all the way down to the ECHL level. The first thing I noticed with him when I saw him in practice is his skating ability. I mean, it was different. It just jumped off the page. Like you think these ECHL players skate well, then you watch a guy like him skate, off the charts. Just something different about it. He just need to put it all together, and so far, he has. Coming into today, he's played 2 games up there in Providence. Has the 1 goal. It was just a thing of beauty, and we'll see if we see him again. I don't. I'm not convinced we do. Obviously the Bruins are going to get healthy. They've already got Lindholm back. They're going to get, the other players back. Arvidsson and Middlestat will be back at some point. So you do wonder what the domino effect would look like. But um, I mean, Perot has an opportunity to stick there for sure. And yeah, we'll see. We'd obviously love to have him back, but it's a big feather in the cap for the Maine Mariners and for Coach Kowalski if uh, they were able to get Perot moving and getting him up there, because that's kind of the name of the game. For Sean Element, just the 2 games as well. No points yet for him. Of course, he's a physical player, and it kind of stinks because we just got him back from that 7-game suspension. Then he gets called up, but again, he's a guy with AHL ability and plays a physical style of game. I know he's not super. He's 5'11", like 201. So he not a super tall player, but plays probably bigger than that 5'11" frame out there on the ice. And we might see him back. We'll see, but he's going to have that opportunity too. And just great for these guys to get those opportunities. So happy for them. And obviously, ECHL, you got to move forward and have depth and, and move other players in. And I think that's what Coach Kowalski and Tolkien and those guys are doing, right? They're getting, um, you know, getting different line combinations and getting better chemistry, more different chemistry with different guys, I should say. And that's kind of the name of the game. Name of the game. Well, just a few other things, of course. As I mentioned, I was on the broadcast with Mike Keeley. That's now my third regular season game with Mike. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for the feedback, the love, support that I've been shown both at the game and here in social media world. Um, I'm not a professional broadcaster. I'm not even a professional podcaster. Okay, like this media stuff is not at all anything that I thought I'd ever be doing. And I'm still a little bit stunned that I'm getting to sit in the booth with someone as good as Mike and in a box where so many other kind of legendary people have sat. Doc Emmerich, going back, Dale Arnold has sat up there and called games, and all of a sudden I'm sitting up there, you know, doing color work. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. But it's a lot of fun. I'll say that it's more fun than nerve wracking. I thought I'd be a lot more nervous. I had my moments, and I had some moments, I think, on Sunday where I was a little bit not so much nervous, but I think one of the biggest things is, you know, seeing what you see on the ice and being able to translate it quickly enough, into words that are, meaningful or somewhat intelligent in time because the game moves so fast. Um, I could never do play by play. Holy smokes. I always knew it was hard. Seeing what Mike does, it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. He's such a great broadcaster. He's not going to be around long, I don't think, in Maine. I really don't. Of course, he had the opportunity, as we all know, to go up to Providence and call that game. So congrats once again to him. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Mike emailed me this summer and asked me if I wanted to give the color commentating a try, give it a try in the preseason. And I remember getting the message on my phone. I don't know where I was, but I was reading the email on my phone. I just started laughing. And the person I was with, they're like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, you're not going to believe this, because I'm just like, there's no way I'm qualified for this. These guys go to school for this, and they train, and this is their career. This is not my career. This is a kind of a hobby, side hustle, passion, obviously, that I have for hockey, for the game. But yeah, it's been, again, like I said, a lot more fun than I thought, and a lot less nervous maybe than I thought I'd be. Once the puck drops, it just kind of turns into a conversation with Mike. And not that you forget you have an audience, because you don't ever want to forget that, but it is just kind of flows naturally as a conversation. And yeah, our chemistry, I think, is getting better. Again, any feedback, anybody who's listening has out there, happy to hear it. Um, it's really on me to pick up on Mike's cadence and on his pauses and when he wants me to interject. And I think we're getting better. I can only be there so often. I can't be there for every game, but gonna be there more. Hoping to be there back on the 6th for the teddy bear toss game. That one could be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's just been a unexpected journey, let's say, for myself. Not to steal any lines from The Hobbit, but yeah, unexpected journey. Did not expect to be a color commentator at any point in my life, and here I am doing it. Heck of a lot of fun. Heck of a lot of fun. So I did kind of reference in the notes to this live stream that I've been doing a lot of thinking about this podcast. And we are going to wrap this thing up here. I'm just coming up to an hour and want to keep it to about an hour for tonight. Um, I've had all sorts of thoughts about this podcast. Everything from quitting completely, just calling it, being frustrated, to wanting to start over a brand new channel. I just start from scratch. I made so many mistakes at the beginning as a YouTuber and really felt like, man, I wonder if I did things differently to like, make the algorithm work better or whatever. And it kind of was talked out of that, probably for the best. But I just continue to think, what can I change about this to make it better, to make it work better on YouTube or whatever. And one thing that I've landed on is a name change to the podcast. Truth be told, I bleeping hate the name of my podcast. Pucks from the Pine Tree. It does not roll off the tongue. It's too many words. It's not very clear. And I came up with it early on when I first started this thing. I had no idea what I was doing. Had no concept of marketing and all the things that go on YouTube. Was the last thing in my mind. Just, I thought creative name. We'll go with it. And about a month in, I'm like, I hate that name, but I kind of felt like I was stuck with it. So I am going to be changing the name, and I think I'm ready to announce what that name is going to be. And I'm happy to get some feedback. I am going to change the name after this live stream to the Maine Hockey Report. So going from Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod to the Maine Hockey Report. I like it. I think it's a little more clear, shorter. I think rolls off the tongue better. It does not speak to the NHL, which I don't like because I do talk a lot of NHL on this channel. I know that Maine Mariners are my home team, and we focus a lot on the ECHL on this channel, so that piece fits. Um, but I obviously talk a lot of NHL, talk a lot of Boston Bruins. So really, the concept isn't going to change a lot. It's still going to be heavy on the Bruins, heavy on the NHL, heavy on the Maine Mariners, sprinkle in some Black Bears and some PWHL where there's time. So the focuses will still be very much the same. But yeah, that's going to be the new name, the Maine Hockey Report. Please leave any comments down below. Email me, leave comments on my Facebook or Twitter. Would love to hear those comments, but I am going to change it. So as you go back onto my channel, say, oh, where did the channel go? What's this Maine Hockey Report? Same channel, same, everything's the same. The logo is staying the same, just the name, because I'm just tired of that name, and I'm happy to change it. Um, so it is Thanksgiving week already. Can't believe it. Of course, everybody has a cliche. Oh, what are you thankful for this year? But I do think that a year like this, it's. I think it is good to reflect on kind of what you're thankful for, and I hope you all have an opportunity to take those moments to be thankful. I think we too often focus on negative. I think we all do that as humans. There could be one horrible thing going on in our lives, but 10 things that are great. And we focus on the one thing that's bad. And hey, I'm super guilty of that. Do that all the time. Man, I'm so thankful for the little 5-year-old that's sleeping 2 rooms down right now. What an awesome kid. I know I had the picture of him up in the broadcast booth after Sunday's game. Just an awesome guy. I'm so lucky to be his dad. I mean, you talk about having the best job in the world. I know every parent says that. I actually have it though. I actually have the best job in the world because he is just an awesome kid. Not perfect, man. He is definitely not perfect, but um, the best part of my life for sure. And to have a situation, even though divorce sucks, and I hate that I'm divorced. I wish I wasn't. I wish it was different. Um, but to have a co-parent who I can work with, who is close by, has really made that a lot easier. So a lot of things to be thankful for there. Thankful for this podcast. Thankful for this great hobby and what it's turned into with the broadcasting bit with Mike and the Mariners. What a huge open door. So thankful for those relationships with Dexter Payne and Mike Keeley, Coach Kowalski, and just the whole organization. Any interface that I've done with some of them, not all of them, has been just brilliant. So just so thankful for that. Lastly, thankful for my home church. We have a great home church here, White Pine Community or White Pine Church in North Yarmouth, Maine. Awesome place to worship, and just a great just family of people. Such a warm, welcoming church. If you're in the Southern Maine area and you're curious about trying to find a home church or been thinking about it, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. come for a visit. I mean, we've had a lot of new people come and check it out. And I know the pastors get a lot of compliments about just how warm and welcoming it is. So I would definitely encourage anybody, especially here around the holidays, especially if you're struggling with anything and you just want some support, come check out White Pine Church, North Yarmouth, Maine. Um, and a couple last things here. I did put out some questionnaires last week about maybe starting a new podcast. It is something I'm kind of workshopping a little bit. Part of me does want to start a new podcast to test out that YouTube algorithm to see if I do it all the right way from the beginning, if it makes a difference, and if you hear about these YouTubers that start a channel and oh, I'm monetized in 3 weeks or whatever. And but thinking about starting a channel for me and my son, where it's more issues about families and dads and co-parenting, and keep it light, keep it fun, with also some inspiration and some advice, kind of like I did my couple this summer on divorce and on a child of an alcoholic, and um, things like that. But you have videos with my kiddo where we talk about new toys coming out or new video games, or what's the new you know cool phrase going around school, this 6-7 thing. I have no clue, no clue what that is, man. No idea. I don't think it's anything bad, is what I've been told, so that's good. But yeah, still workshopping this. I don't want to rush out to it. I really want to take some time to get a proper name, get a proper kind of mission statement of what is the channel going to be, and then mark out 10, 12 episodes out to kind of plan some things out, and keep my kiddo a little bit to a minimum. I know YouTube Kids has a lot of videos of dads and sons and parents out there doing stuff like that. I don't want to overexpose him. Obviously, the internet's a pretty horrible place. So, and he is only 5, but yeah, we're kind of talking about doing some of that. So I've literally in the last 2 weeks gone from I'm done podcasting, I'm had it, I'm done with it, to now maybe having 2 podcasts. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. I'm all over the place with it. But more to come there. I'll keep you guys posted, and it'll be clearly a non-hockey podcast. So it'll be a whole different audience, and I'll be speaking to a whole different audience on that show. And last but not least, just a reminder: on December 8th, I have the privilege of being able to welcome in from Nesson. Adam Pellerin is going to be on the podcast. We're going to talk all things Boston Bruins. Be really curious to see where they're at come the 8th. And yeah, we'll have a whole topic list of things all around the team. Get to know Adam a little bit. Of course, Adam, a guy who worked here in Portland years ago and does a lot of different social media stuff there with Nessa and travels with the team. And the one time I've had a chance to talk to him, just an awesome guy, just an awesome dude, awesome off camera. So thankful he's coming on. Looking forward to that one. That'll be December 8th when we record. So I'll most likely get it out either that evening or December 9th, but I'll certainly let you all know. And with that said, everybody, this will be my last kind of podcast live stream before the holiday. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your friends, enjoy your family. I hope you can get some downtime, relax, watch some hockey. Can't wait to be back with you. And as I always say, until next time, be kind, show love, and God bless.